Hi, my name is Tonga and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be going over what I like to add to shell voicings in order to make them sound fuller. The resulting voicings are some that I use to this day and I consider a true default for beginners and intermediate and are useful for the rest of your career, really. Before moving on, if you don't know what a shell voicing is, go ahead, tap the link and get caught up on what it is, how to apply it, and how to play it within a song. So we know that a shell voicing consists of a root, a third, and a seventh. Now for the major and minor shell voicings, I like to add the fifth and the ninth. Why the fifth? Well, it's because it's pretty transparent, it's a chord tone, and will generally be your go-to filler note. Now for the ninth, I like to add that because it adds just a little bit of color and it's probably your most available color tone. And if you don't know what a chord tone and a color tone is, don't worry, I'll have another video in the future explaining what those are and why you should know those. Now, for the dominant chord, I like to add the ninth and the 13th. So the ninth, again, it's because it's available. And then the 13th is another color tone that just sounds a lot more interesting in a dominant chord. Now, could you use the fifth on a dominant chord as well? Absolutely. The reason I don't use the fifth is for a couple reasons. The first reason is it just sounds kind of dull to me to have the fifth and the ninth on a dominant chord, but that's just me. And there's gonna be another reason that you'll see when we implement it into the song that's fairly convenient when you're using these voicings together playing through a standard. Now that we went over that, let's see how it appears on the piano and go into a little bit more detail on what inversions to work with. All right, let's start off with our major seventh shell voicing. In C, we have our root, third, and seventh, major third, major seventh. And then we're gonna just add our fifth and our ninth, and you get a nice voicing like this. Now let's go back to our shell voicing and flip the inversion so the seventh is on the bottom. So we have our root, seventh, and third, and then add the fifth and the ninth. So the fifth being here and the ninth being here. Now I wanted to talk about how I want you to focus on just these two inversions with either the third or the seventh on the bottom. We have 4 notes in our right hand. So technically we have 4 inversions available to us from here to there, to there, and there. Right? But for now, I want you to focus on just those 2 inversions with the third on the bottom and the seventh on the bottom. That way you're not overwhelmed by all the choices that you can make. In time, you want to add those later and just kind of see what voicings, which inversions actually work best for, whatever your needs are at the moment. But these 2 inversions tend to be the best ones to start off with, and they have really nice spacing. All in thirds, and you have a little bit of a cluster here. But these will serve you very, very well. With that, let's go into the minor seventh. And so we have our minor shell voicing, minor third, minor seventh on top. And then we add the fifth and the ninth as well. We're gonna switch the inversion, so the seventh is on the bottom. There you go. Both of these go to. And now for our dominant voicing. We have our dominant seventh or flat seventh and our major third. And this time we're adding our ninth and our 13th. We have this voicing. And then if we put the seventh on the bottom, we have this voicing. Now, could we use the fifth like I had previously said? Of course we could, but there's something really basic, like too basic for me, that I just dislike it. And in the next segment, I'm gonna show you why I prefer the 13th in the context of playing through some standard material. But again, you can use the fifth, but let's shoot for the 13th. So again, dominant shell voicing, add the 13th and the 9th. Dominant shell voicing, add the 13th and the 9th. There you go. Now that we have those voicings figured out and which inversions we're going to be going for, let's implement it into a song and see how they interact with each other. All right, now let's look at how this can be applied to a song, and let's do all the things you are, like what we did in the shell voicing, but now we're using these fuller chords. So I'm going to start off with similar shell voicings. For our F minor, I'm going to start with this inversion, add the 5th and the 9th, and then B flat minor, add the shell voicing, 9th and 5th, and then for the E flat dominant, I'm going to have the shell voicing and then the 13th and the 9th. Now, take special note that going from B flat minor to E flat dominant, I only changed one note in the right hand. And this is the reason why I like to use the 13th, specifically in jazz material when you have a bunch of 2/5s. It's because these are so linked. They have 3 common tones between them, and it's a real subtle movement, but you can hear it. So again, F minor, B flat minor, E flat dominant. And then we continue on with A flat major 7, with the shell voicing and the 9th and 5th. D flat major 7, G7, C major 7. Again, shell voicing, and then the additional notes for the D flat, shell, add additionals, shell, additionals. Continuing on, C minor 7, F minor, B flat dominant. Again, here's that 2/5 in a different inversion this time. And you have the shell going like that, but you're only moving one note in between the two on the right hand. And then E flat major 7. I'm going to just go through the rest of the song. You can see how the inversions that I planted in the shell voicing video, I'm exploiting here for these chords as well. So everything is very close to each other. And now for this C7 sharp 9 sharp 5 or altered, I have my shell voicing, and in this case I'm using a sharp 9 and a sharp 5, and I'll talk about what to add to altered chords. This is a go-to in another video in more detail. And then we're back at F minor, B flat, everything's super close. There. And now from D flat major 7 to minor 7, shifts, keeps the same 5th and the 9th. Nice little pivot. And then a diminished, which is completely separate than what we're doing in this video. And then we have B flat minor, another 2/5, and that's the whole chart. Now you're equipped with 7th chord voicings that are fundamental and will serve you well into the future. Take these same voicings and apply them to other songs, and then let me know how that goes for you down in the comments. And be sure to subscribe and like the video, and stay tuned for more. In the meantime, happy practicing and be good.